Are you guys ready? Are you guys fucking pumped, Morgantown? How you guys feeling tonight, this Friday night? It's hot as hell. You guys enjoying the weather? Fuck yeah. You guys ready to see some punk music tonight? You guys ready to see some burlesque tonight? Are you guys ready to see some fucking deathmatch tonight? Fuck yeah, it's gonna be awesome. You guys are in for a treat because before all of this kicks off, we have a comedy set for you tonight. We have a touring comedian coming all the way from Los Angeles. He's performed at the Fest and for Cheech and Chong's Up in Jokes. Everybody put your hands together for John Michael Bond.
Hey, are you guys ready for all of the most interesting things in the world and this guy? Yeah. It's very exciting. Before you watch people cut themselves, you get to watch a guy who used to cut himself. This is real good. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I am a huge pro wrestling fan. It is in my blood. I get into fist fights with people who say it's fake. Fuck you, okay? If you think wrestling's fake, it's because you don't know about the people we've lost, okay? Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, The Undertaker, okay? Like, we've lost good men in this fight, all right? Yes, I just don't have a good riff about it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I don't know how to easily say this, but I get into dumb fights because I'm fucking mad all the time, okay? And here's the problem, and most of you, I feel like you could visually understand this. When you're a guy in your 30s, no one gives you compliments that ever feel like compliments, do they? No. You know how I know? A guy at a bar during the playoffs recently looked at me and said, "Hey bro, you're an uncle, right?" That doesn't feel like he's trying to start a fight at first, does it? Like, you know? But that was a guy looking at me and being like, "Hey man, you look like your brother fucks." You know? And he does. I got two beautiful nephews. My bro lays it down. I think what he meant is I look like guys who aren't doing traditionally well right now, okay? Like, here's what happens. If you set the economy on fire every 5 years since the 80s, you end up with a bunch of guys who look like what your creative character in Tony Hawk is doing right now, okay? You're like, oh yeah, working a day job and doing his best, you know? I understand, I get it, you know, but like, I'm not gonna have kids because I think I'm sterile. I don't know. I've had a laptop on my dick for 43 hours a week since I was 10. The fact that this gets hard is magic, you know? But like, if I'm not gonna have kids, maybe I could be like the world's uncle. Maybe I could do that. I do uncle shit. I buy R-rated movie tickets for kids I don't know. Oh, you don't know a hero when you see him? Yeah. The only time it's ever backfired was Denver, Colorado. I was on tour by myself, having a good time. I went to the movies. I was hanging out, just playing words with friends, doing nothing. Standing in line, I look up, I see two teenagers in front of me on a date. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I got to the kiosk. Didn't even look up. I went one for Terrifier 2. I want to watch a clown eat some fools, you know? And I heard the worst thing that a man who looks like me can hear, which is, I need to see identification. No, the fuck you don't, okay? Like, you can see me. If this is the body of a 15-year-old boy, that's a 15-year-old boy who's about to die, okay? Like, let him see whatever art he wants to see, you know? And I look up indignant, and he's not talking to me. It's the guy next to me talking to my friends. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Those are my children. And everybody stopped talking, you know? I was like, what the fuck did I miss? I look over, I'm like, oh, those are two Guatemalan teenagers. You know? But also, I'm like, it's 2023, you racist. You don't know who I could pull, you know? Like, maybe their mom has a dominant trait and a fetish for whatever the fuck this is, you know? So I leaned in, I was like, yeah, those are my kids. You got a problem with it? And he was like, they're your biological children. And I was like, what am I missing? And that's what I remembered when I looked up in line and was like, oh, those kids are on a date. Those kids had been furiously tongue-fucking each other, yeah. Just deep, like cleanest teeth you've ever seen, you know? And in that moment, we all have like a choice to make, you know? Like, those kids could have gone and seen a PG-13 movie, but they're looking at me for answers like, Papa, what do we do, you know? And then they say, yeah, that's our dad. Yeah, have you ever wanted to see a movie so bad you leaned into incest? Not me. I couldn't do it, you know? I came clean. I was like, I need to tell you the truth. These are not my children. I'm their stepdad, though. They're definitely related. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell another man how to raise his kids. That's not who I am. I don't know. I've been touring. I spent a lot of time in the car listening to serial killer podcasts. Yeah, okay, we got some killer fans in the house. We got Jason Voorhees here tonight. That's fucking amazing, okay? I'm curious, do you have a favorite serial killer? The Morgantown serial killer? You can't name a local band. That's rude. You're like, I'm a hipster for murder. Do you have one? What is it? None that's mainstream? You are the punkest crowd I've ever seen. You're like, oh, you wouldn't know our serial killer. He killed some very obscure women. You don't know. 90% of the time I ask that question, I get the answer, Ted Bundy. Yeah. Fuck Ted Bundy. People are like, oh, I could fuck Ted Bundy. No, you couldn't have. You just think you do because he looks like a guy who turned you down in college. You know, like he's not. He's just a varsity JV player with a little bit of game and a canoe. That's all he was. But here's the thing. There's nothing okay, Albert Fish, more of a BDSM icon than a serial killer, but here's the thing about Ted Bundy. Killed 35 women that we know about. There is nothing funny about that. But when Ted Bundy was in college, I don't know if you know this or not, he spent 3 years working as an operator at a suicide hotline. Yeah. Now here's the thing, guys. I'm lazy as shit. If I was a serial killer, I would also get a job at a suicide hotline, okay? Like, I would just end every call with, I don't know, bro. It sounds like you got a lot to think about tonight. Click, you know? Another tally on my board, you know? Not Ted Bundy. He was into murder for love of the game. He was the best operator at the suicide hotline. Yeah, that's right, guys. Tonight we're gonna talk about the lives Ted Bundy saved, okay? Yeah. Do you understand if Ted Bundy stopped 3 nurses from killing themselves, he's technically in a net positive for saving lives? Yeah, it's conflicting. Someone wrote a book about it called The Stranger at the Desk Next Door, and they said if you wanted to save a life, you would call Ted Bundy into work early. Yeah, because he knew how to talk to people, apparently. And he'd like walk in, he'd grab the phone, be like, yeah, Susan, I know it seems dark, but you're not gonna die alone at your house tonight, no. You're gonna die at the lake like I planned, click, you know. I'm married. Yeah, thank you. That's what no one gives a shit. Marriage now is just about health insurance. It's fine. Marriage is like a death match. You have to wait 25 years to see who wins. Does that resonate? I don't know. My wife's my best friend. She thinks I'm hot. That's very polite of her. She doesn't have to do that. But the thing I know about her that is like the most precious is she taught me to never say no to opportunities. And I know that because we've done Molly too many times. And one time I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was at a friend's house. We were at a house party. This guy comes up and is like, do you guys want to do Molly tonight? I'm like, I don't know. And my wife's like, maybe, you know? And then the guy reaches into his pocket, pulls out a bag of orange powder. And I'm like, that's not what my Molly looks like. Digs in a key, puts it up to my nose. And he's like, do you want to do some Molly? And I'm like, man, I couldn't do it. And my wife goes, snort it, bitch. Yeah. So I snort it, because I'm the kind of guy who likes being called bitch by people I'm fucking. Yeah. I'm also the kind of guy who refers to his wife as people I'm fucking. So we start doing the Molly, and I realize there's probably some meth in it. It's too strong. We're immediately full disco mode, just going crazy, dancing in the middle of my friend's living room, making out. And like, when you're in your 20s, your married friends, they're not really your friends. They're more like parents you do coke with. You know? So like, we leave early because no one wants to see dad get fingered. I'm dad. And we go back to my house, and we're making out, and my wife says, hey, do you want to fuck in the shower? And I'm so high, I say, yes. Which is, no one wants to fuck in the shower. Like, shower sex is the worst sex you will ever have. It's just 2 people fighting to stay warm for the benefit of the other person. And we're there, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I get in the shower, I get the loofah, I start scrubbing, and for some reason, I just start washing my wife's back for like 25 minutes. I'm just going fucking nuts, you know? And she's like, I got tits, you wanna play with those? And I'm like, no one's been back here in a while, I gotta exfoliate, you know? And while I'm back there, I realize I have to pee super bad. Yeah. Oh my God. I realize I have to pee super bad, and I'm like, honey, I got a problem. She's like, what? And I was like, well, I gotta piss. And she's like, so? And I was like, well, if I get out, I'm gonna be cold, but if I do it in here, it might splash on you. And my wife says, who gives a shit? It's the shower. And I was like, touche. And she says, hey man, do you wanna pee on my butt? Yeah. And I went, what the fuck did you just say to me? Now I wanna be clear to you, my wife does not have a fetish for being peed on, all right? What my wife has a fetish for is not missing out on an opportunity, okay? She's like, I don't think we're ever gonna be here again. If you've ever wanted to do this, shoot your shot, literally, okay? And I don't wanna let her down, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna try this, you know? When I get back, I like rear back, I'm like, that's generous, you know? It's like 1 inch long, but thick like a Yankee candle. It's fucking gross. And I spend 10 minutes trying desperately to pee on my wife's butt. And I'm gonna tell you what, I couldn't do it. I know, I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking of everything I could do, just waterfalls, everything. And my wife knows how fragile men can be. She starts trying to build me up. She's like, don't worry, honey, you can do it. You drank a lot of beer tonight, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it for you. And just like 10 more minutes pass and I can't do it. And I'm like, honey, I love you. I tried super hard, but I can't do this. And she says, hey, don't worry about it. The important thing's that you tried. Smacked me on the ass, gave me some orange slices. She's a great coach. And when people ask me, what's the secret of marriage? How do you know you love that woman? I tell them that story. And for 10 years, I have not been invited to a single goddamn wedding. My name is Sean Bond. You have a great time tonight. Enjoy World's Scariest Police Chases. Thank you.